Emma, thank you for joining me. Firstly, if you could just start by telling me what you've been doing and what your role is.
UNHCR is the UN Refugee Agency, and I run the national charity partner here in the UK. And we and my colleagues have been working to mobilize support for what UNHCR is doing on the ground to assist refugees. There are now 6.5 million people from Ukraine who have fled into neighboring countries, such as Poland, Romania, Moldova, and some of them, of course, have been resettled here in the UK. We are also on the ground in Ukraine itself, where a further nearly 7 million Ukrainians are on the move, have been forced to flee their homes. And so we are on the ground in Ukraine, assisting the internally displaced, providing humanitarian assistance, providing protection, providing counseling, and other forms of help.
It's interesting, it's 6 months on from the invasion. It's also Ukraine's Independence Day today. The news cycle can be a poorly balanced ecosystem sometimes, and it has seemed to go away from the front pages of recent weeks and months. How important is it, not just on days like today, such as an anniversary, that we keep remembering that this is such a big issue, because there are still millions of people in real trouble?
Absolutely. And Independence Day is a holiday in Ukraine that is always celebrated with a great deal of national pride. And I think we should remember today Ukrainians who are here in the UK and displaced elsewhere, and just be in solidarity with them on what must be a very emotional day. What we are thinking about at the UN Refugee Agency is the arrival of winter. And in that part of the world, winter can be literally a matter of life or death, because temperatures can be as low as -20. And with literally 800,000 homes in Ukraine that have been either damaged or destroyed, and also infrastructure having been destroyed, so people lacking access to electricity and to fuel, the arrival of winter and people having adequate shelter and infrastructure is a very, very urgent matter. And that's something that we and other humanitarian agencies and charities are already preparing for on the ground.
Yeah. What can people watching this from home try and do to help you guys do your job a bit better? And because it can often feel a bit futile sitting here when something like that's going on, and when you care, but there's not a lot you can do. How can people help, at least in some way, aside from just showing solidarity?
I want to say, first of all, that the response that we have seen from members of the public here in London and across the UK has been extraordinary and unprecedented. And I really mean that. There's been an outpouring of donations from everywhere, and the levels of generosity have been extraordinary. And that is really what we continue to need moving forward in order to be able to provide that humanitarian assistance, those services, that information, that counseling to the millions of Ukrainians who remain on the move, who remain traumatized as refugees, as displaced people. And again, with the arrival of winter, those needs, those humanitarian needs are going to rise. And the conflict remains very much ongoing in the east of the country, in the south of Ukraine, and we are going to see more displacement in the months to come.
Yeah. Are you hopeful in the long term, though, Emma? Have you seen some signs that things are really getting better? As you say, the conflict is mostly in the east at the moment. I just saw a video that there are football matches being played back in other sides of the country and things like that. But as you say, things are going to get worse in the winter. But in the longer term, do you think your job is going to get a lot easier as well?
Well, as a humanitarian agency, it's difficult for us to comment on the military situation specifically. But I will say that we are preparing for this to be a long-term emergency. And as such, we are going to continue to need that support, and people can help by going to our website at unrefugees.org.uk and making a donation, signing up as a supporter. And but what brings me hope is the response, the generosity, the welcome that people here in the UK have shown to Ukrainians and to refugees from many other countries. And I want to emphasize that there are many other refugees from Syria, from Afghanistan, from Sudan, from so many other countries that also deserve and need our support and our welcome.
Emma, thank you very much for coming on today to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.